I am, with Dr. Mabila Mathebula right here today. Dr. Mabila Mathebula, good afternoon and welcome to another thumping episode or installment of VMC Planet Radio. The show is called Second to None. We call it the unexpurgated show, and each time that we speak to you, we know it becomes a logoficio hipopokunoras.
I wish I could know that mantra.
But in short, it means very good.
And Stan, maybe before we start the program, I have to give praise where praise is truly deserved. I have to congratulate you for the paper that you delivered day before yesterday on at an international conference on blended learning. Thank you. It was really thought-provoking.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. Although I did not mention, it, I'm sure the listeners are actually very surprised. But the good thing about it is that you actually played a pivotal role to that effect as well, Dr. Mathebula. I must also give credit where credit is also due. It is a case, don't you think it's a case of iron sharpening iron, Dr. Mathebula?
Not necessarily. I think it's a question of, a reciprocal relationship.
Oh, yes. Reciprocal relationship. So because we reciprocate as people, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you.
Now, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, today we are actually talking about leadership and power of seduction. It is the continuation from last week.
Yeah, from week before last.
Oh, yeah. Week before last. Yes. Yeah, because you see, today I'm riding solo. I don't have a co-pilot. Vision last week, he was riding solo. He didn't also have a co-pilot. And, today, but he had some things to do. So it is just me in the studio, Dr. Mabila Mathebula.
Yeah, no problem. We miss Vision, and hopefully next week you'll join us.
Yeah, we are so very hopeful that he's actually going to join us. Now, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, now this is a very interesting topic, and I actually love all the three words that are there. We've got leadership, we've got the word leadership, we've got the word power. We also have the word seduction. So I'm finding this topic actually very interesting, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. How about you?
Yeah, well, I think to me it's very interesting because we've been talking about the power of seduction, and today we're talking about leadership, that women have got the power even to seduce those people who are in power.
Do we have?
Shall I repeat? Women have got the power to seduce even people who are in power.
Women have got the power to seduce people who are in power. In fact, last week, Dr. Mabila Mathebula said, "Mwastate angana hosi."
Yeah, that's true.
So these words, fit into each other.
Absolutely.
Now, do we have examples of people, especially famous people that were actually, or that fell into the trap, or that were seduced, Dr. Mathebula?
Yes. For example, Julius Caesar was seduced by Cleopatra. Robert Gabriel Mugabe was seduced by Grace Mugabe, who happened to be his PA. And I mean, the list it's a long list. All powerful men were once, in one or the other, seduced by women.
Now, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, now how powerful seduction is?
Yeah, well, it's so powerful that it is in a position to break the leadership glass ceiling. Because women have got that strong magnetic, personality capable of charming birds from the trees. Even when you are a leader, they'll charm you. And I think one mistake that was committed after 1994, when we started affirmative action and black people were given positions, people were not mentored about the power of seduction. Now, that you'll be seduced.
Now, which brings us to one point, Dr. Mathebula. Now, Do you have any personal experience? Can we talk about your personal experience?
We can talk about my personal experience. For example, I started teaching at a very young age, at the age of 21, and then the learners that I had in my class, they were ranging, their age groups, they were from 17 to 26. Now you just imagine I was in the middle, and then I was very naive. By then, we didn't have cell phones. We only had landlines. And then I said to my learners that whenever you have a problem in terms of accounting, please call me at home and I'll explain to you. And little did I realize that I was creating an opportunity for some opportunists, And then they will actually call me, not for assignments, but for other issues as well. And I was naive. I'll actually go to class and say, "Oh, by the way, Daphne, you called me yesterday. What was, what did you, what was the problem?" And I actually found that some of these women, they actually felt embarrassed. And I discovered later that it was not about accounting. It was about something else.
It was not about accounting, but it was about something else, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. And so something else, obviously, is seduction, right, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, absolutely. That was it. Because I was a figure of authority. I was young, and I knew my subject matter, and I was a role model to most of the learners. And then when they called, it was not, about assistance. It was about something else. And I discovered later on, because I was so naive,
that this is the different type of attention that you are receiving.
Absolutely.
Now, you also worked for a radio station, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, as an on-air personality and also as an editor as well for the news as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a landline by then as well, and listeners would call us.
Yes.
Maybe to Giyani, to Twando, because I was working for the 3 radio services by then. Parapara, Mganalonene, as well as Tobela. I was doing the routine, Tokalatsela, Tikwashitli.
Yes, yes.
And a person would actually call you that I've got breaking news, and then you take a car, you go to Giyani. When you arrive there, you find that there's nothing. You understand? You find something different.
So you were actually tricked, by the way.
Absolutely.
So now you also become a manager at a railway institution as well. Did you have those experiences?
Yeah, I did. As I said to you that when we became managers in 1994, after South Africa gained democracy, we didn't have mentorship, people who mentored us in terms of the challenges that we had to face. And then I found myself in a situation whereby I was running the accident office, National Accident Office, and we're headed in Braamfontein, Mchanchi House. And then I found myself, I was occupying the 7th floor. And I was the manager.
Okay.
And then I found that my department had more women than men. And then I had a white secretary, a white PA. And they'll go to her and say, because I said to myself, because you want to be, as a young manager, naive manager, you want to be this understanding manager, you want to be, want to have this open, door policy, the theory that you have been taught in management. And then you say to your secretary, please, whoever wants to see me, please allow them to see me, and blah, blah, blah. And little did they realize that I was opening a room for seduction. And women would actually come to my office, not for work-related issues. You understand? And you actually find yourself discussing other things more than work-related issues. Yeah.
And at that stage, you were still naive, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, I was still naive. It is said that it is good for the heart to be naive, but not for the mind.
And then, so it went on, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. Now, you tell us about the business trip that you had, with a young woman, during the time.
Yeah. Also, I once went on a business trip and with a young woman. She was 21 years of age, and then by then I was driving a Honda Ballad.
Yes.
And then I love gospel music, and I was playing gospel music, and she said, "No, can I play my music?" And then it was Oskido, and by then I didn't know who Oskido was. And I said, "You don't know Oskido?" I said, "I don't know." And then she played Oskido, and then we went to Pumalanga, to do some accident investigations, and then when we arrived at the hotel, they told us that they were not going to cater for us. We had to buy food somewhere. And then that was our dinner. And then we went to buy dinner. And then I went into my room, and she went to her room. But later she came to my room. And then I was seated on my bed and then eating. And then she sat next to me. And then as she sat next to me, because I didn't expect that, and I jumped. And then,
I can imagine.
Yeah, because also you want to be a figure of authority, and you are managing this big department, and and then the following day she made a comment. I said, "No, Nikita could do next to her. Why no jumper?" And I was challenged. And then from there. And then from there we drove back, to Joburg. And when we drove back, and then I told her that I don't eat a lot of things, and she bought some biltongs, and then as I was actually driving, I found a biltong in my mouth.
So she was trying to feed you, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so overwhelmed, and to be honest, I became confused, about what was actually happening in that situation. And I called my friend, and I said to him, "Hey, you know what? This is what I'm going through. And then how do you deal with a situation like this?" And my friend said, my advice is that run away, and I ran away.
So, very interesting, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. Now, did you ever feel like you were at the point where if you don't do anything about it, you will then be tempted?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You had to draw the line, because, imagine in such a situation, you have got different... You have got different women in your department. They are contemporaries, they're beautiful. They are, like you have got all assorted, and they all want your attention, as a manager. And by then you have got resources. And by then, I mean, I'm talking about something like the year 2000. I mean, I had a budget, 4 million budget. You have got resources. You have got power. You could go overseas at any time. You understand? And in such a situation, if you are not a strong man, you'd have been tempted.
Now, let's. I want us to talk about. I know we're talking about the experiences that people will have, and people will have different experiences. Now, let's talk about this young man who's as naive as you were back then, and we are living in times where. It's very, very hard, actually, for young men as we speak now, because, of our court systems. Now, what advice would you have for a young man, in 2021, Dr. Mabila Mathebula?
A young man would be exposed to such a situation?
Such a situation in this day and age.
Yeah, well, seduction is always there. And it has always been there, and it will be there. It's like the Holy Spirit. He was, he is, and always shall be. And each and every person will actually go through some temptations in one way or the other. And then, but what I can advise a young man who is in management is that once you are in management, have a mentor. Like a person like Stan, who has been in the corporate world for something like 25 years. To mentor you and to coach you about the things that you might actually come across in the corporate environment, and how to manage different situations. As I'm saying to you, with us, when we started as managers, we were very excited. So many things excited us. You have got a car allowance, for the first time, you've got the car allowance, you've got a good salary, you have got everything. You can fly all over the world, and it was so exciting. You see, and then there was no man who sat us down and said, but you see, in the process, you're going to come across all these challenges. Other women, they're there, they want promotions. Others, they want money, they want, Now, at the end of the day, you actually find yourself being overwhelmed, by this situation, you see. And then without a coach, you'll fall into the pit.
Now, a mentor or a coach will then also be able to make you see some of those signs so that you can be able to avert some of those situations, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like pastors, You start a church as a pastor, and then you are naive. And then you have got this young woman who says to you, hey, you know what, Pastor, I've got a problem and I need counseling. Only to find out it's not counseling. She needs you. You understand? And when you are together, he says, man, why you get some routine? Yeah, you understand?
And when you are a Mruti for example.
Yeah, man, they will actually challenge you. They say, hi, why you get some routine? About that thing. We're in the bedroom. You understand? If you're naive, such pastors also they need people who can mentor them and say, in the ministry, these are the challenges that you are going to face. And then in management, these are the challenges that you are going to face as a manager.
Now, if and I'm just asking this question, if you find yourself in a situation where you are being seduced and you can be able to tell that I am being seduced here, do you have to call it out to a person and say, please stop the seduction, or there is a way in which you need to say it?
Yeah, I think you need to have some emotional intelligence. Like, for example, the type of a job that I'm doing, more often than not, I'm outside. I travel a lot. And then some of them, my colleagues are women, But you know what? You know what's my strategy in the whole thing? Whenever I take a trip, there must be a male colleague. If I'm going to travel with a female colleague, I make a point that there's a male colleague. And when I organize my trips, more often than not, I travel with guys. You see, and if maybe the women come in, come on board, I make it a point that I've got enough men, on the trip. Now, those are the strategies that you employ in order to manage those challenges. But what's important is to have a way to avoid those things. As I said to you that, seduction is like the Holy Spirit. He was, he is, and always shall be. The same applies to seduction. Seduction was, is, and will always happen. And what is important for you is to have strategies on how to solve, on how to manage the power of seduction.
Now, yeah, this is actually very interesting, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, because this will actually help the young men, especially the ones that are actually naive, to think that perhaps what they are seeing might not be a reflection of what is actually happening. Dr. Mabila Mathebula, thank you so very much for that. Dr. Mabila Mathebula, today we don't have a vocabulary cabinet, but we have what we call the quotable quotes. So in our cabinet, we are quoting today, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, the reason why we don't have anything in our vocabulary cabinet is that vision is not around. And
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
know that he's pathological obsessed with vocab.
Yes.
But today we've got a quotable code that says the road to success is always under construction. You will never arrive.
The road to success is always under construction. You will never arrive. Now, simple put, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, what are we saying about this quote? It's a very interesting quote.
Yeah, the thing is, in life, you can't actually say, I've arrived. You know, for example, you had that guy who's Mr. Mabaso, who was on the show. You know, as Mandela said that, you know, the challenges in life, once you climb the hill, you realize that there are so many hills to climb. You know, the same applies to, you know, towards distinct success. You must not be content. Once you realize that I've arrived, there are some other challenges, you know, that you have to that you have to climb as well.
Yeah. I like this quote because for me, you know, there's something else that it tells me. It tells me that the person who actually says that they have arrived, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, they sit in their laurels and think that whatever it is that they've accomplished is going to last them very, very long. And that's the reason why we see some of the artists, musicians, sport people actually dying pauper because they don't think of the road of success as an ever-ending road. They think they've arrived at a specific point and there's nothing else that is actually going to happen. So I like this quote because it encourages us to always look forward to a life of more success and more success, Dr. Mabila Mathebula.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll never arrive. But for example, you know that I write an article for the Star every Friday, but I'm not content. I feel that next year I must write a book. You know, because the road to success is always under construction. Next year I'm going to write a book.
In fact, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, talking about writing a book, with all the discussions that we have, we need to actually either package them together and come out with something. But that discussion, the listeners will know when something is done.
Yeah, but it's up to the listeners. Maybe they must actually tell us, do they want what we are doing to be documented into a book or so? Let's hear from them. If they want a book, we're going to put up a book and then we'll publish it. If they want something different, we are going to make it a point that we meet their needs. Whatever they need, we're going to accomplish.
And the promise we make is the promise we fulfill right at VMC Planet Radio. Now, the number is 0624508619. You can send us a voice note. You can send us a SMS. You can also send us just a WhatsApp text as well. And I am Boneni Stan Muraudi on Facebook, and he is at Mabila Mathebula. You can also leave your comments there. And whatever it is that you say, we are your servant. Isn't it, Dr. Mabila Mathebula? We are your servant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are the servant. We are going to do what the listeners say we must do.
Yeah. Thank you so very much to Dr. Mabila Mathebula. You know, you are also going to get this podcast tomorrow as well of what we are actually talking about. If you caught us in the middle of the discussion and you've missed something, tomorrow the podcast is actually going to be available in our platforms and you will be able to get it. Thank you so very much, Dr. Mabila Mathebula.
And next week's plan also is still on seduction.
Next week, it's still on seduction as well. So, you know, in terms of seduction, you know, we are going full force with this one. We're going all out, Dr. Mabila Mathebula. Oh, yeah, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, you know, I was just about to close. And there's a listener here who said, it looks like... you gentlemen are very subjective. You're talking about seduction as if seduction is it only comes from women. Okay, I don't know if it's a question or comment, Dr. Mabila Mathebula, but it looks more like a comment than anything.
Yeah, well, it's a very good question. That's why even we are saying next week we're going to talk about seduction. We are going to exhaust it. I think for the next 10 weeks we'll be talking about seduction.
Okay.
And then the listener is right, but we are going to also talk about men who seduced women.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Yes.
Like for example, you have heard about Casanova. Like they say Casanova, and what was it? Casanova was a seducer. He seduced women. Now, those are the things that we're going to talk in our future series.
Exactly. So stay tuned. We are going to talk about these things. So we are not being biased.
Yeah, we are going to touch on Casanova.
We are going to be talking about Casanova as well. Dr. Mabila Mathebula, let's meet the listeners next week as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. And then, good luck for the show. Thanks.
Thank you so very much.